Greetings, my good peeps. Let me tell you, I think I made a little too merry last night, Friday night and all. Got a new toy. Not really. My 2 monitor setup is back, and I'm thrilled to see this. I'm thrilled to see this. And instead of having 28-inch monitors, now I have 32, and they're curved, and they're huge, and they're beautiful, and very immersive, and I spent a lot of time actually gaming. And I stayed up till like 12:30. I'm old now, and I really don't stay up past 10 much. Most of the time I get up, I'm already showered and, eaten a bit. No, today I just rolled out of bed, looked at the clock, and I said, you gotta be on in 9 minutes. So let's play together. Do. Enjoy this. This is something I was working on for Rafi, who may or may not be out there. He doesn't play soft music like this, but for being, a patron, he gets mini lessons. And this week's is all about slip and slides, really linear scale patterns. But I figured I'd create a little backing track to assist in what I'm trying to teach them. You too can benefit from such a thing if you decide that $5 a month is worth the knowledge, if that's something you're interested in. Let me sign into chat here and see if there's anybody out there. While we enjoy how the looper is continuously looping forever. La la la. In the meantime, you guys are going to have to put up with me and some tea. Maybe I can talk about things. We'll have a small stream on Monday. It's not going to be more than an hour. I'm not going to do it amelodically. Boy, what a morning it is. But when I do the stream, it's going to be mostly about the drive, the pending drive. And why haven't I gotten notified here? Hello? Boy, this is going to be a morning, I can tell. Sent it to the wrong phone. Ah! Crazy. It won't send me a text, but it has to use the phone. No, there it is. Yes. Jeez Louise. How dumb is that? Looks like I'm actually into my live chat, though. nice. Good morning. Does this work? Ah, it does. All right. There's nobody out there. Ah, yeah. Nice 7 on that. Just keep hitting the E. I was always hitting the G. Now let's see what we can do with that. Where's F? Of course, this is always going to G there, but you know, we can do other things. I don't think that really, fits for me personally, but we could try that. This just doesn't fit the mood, man. You gotta do stuff that fits the mood. Turn off the loop. Well, shorter stream today anyway. I have many things to do. I've got to pack. I've got to wash my car. Gee, many Christmas. Some good news about the trip coming up is that the hotel costs have significantly lowered. How is that? Well, I'll tell you. Friends come in clutch. And so do guest rooms. Makes me extremely happy. Now, I'm still deliberating as to whether or not this old fella, Gary, whether or not this old fella is really up for such a drive, but, Be leaving 6 a.m. 6 a.m. Tuesday morning. I actually work Monday, the day prior to that. It's going to be fun. Wake up, all bushy-eyed and all that kind of crap. Good Lord. So, there's nobody out there. So I'm just going to play whatever for another 30 minutes. And warm up in my normal way. If anybody decides to show, awesome. If they do not, it will not be a surprise. Excuse me. Springtime brings good weather. We're actually having some. Oh my God, I'm in a t-shirt for the first time in a year. Well, it's not first time in a year. It's first time in several months. I think the last time I actually got to wear a t-shirt in the house or out was, for real. Like right after I wake up, I'm not too cold. It's October. Early October was the last time I got to. Missed that crap. like I said, I'm just going to kick back and play. And I mean literally kick back. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, though. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I got notifications. What's that? Great song and album. Yes, I agree. Derek Warren 6171 regarding, I believe that's When Freedom Dies. So, you are... oh, no, new song. Well, you know, it's a funny thing. When you get old, it's not about age, actually. It's I've always been this way. If you don't continually work on something, you won't remember it. I work on stuff when I do covers. I do it just enough to where I remember it the day, and then I never touch it again, usually, and so I immediately forget about it. For instance, the only thing I really remember about the Loa House, I just did that a couple of months ago, is maybe that's it. You know, I'm sure I could pick a lot of it back up, you know, like falling off a horse, but all the leads, yeah, I don't remember any of them. Not any of them at all. But then there's the dichotomy, because I do remember stuff from way back in the day because I used to play it continually, like every single day all the time. So I got good at it. Case in point. I will remember that forever, you know. Yeah. It's not even a guitar part. This is. But, you know, that's not. the original bits, that's a bass, man. I-G-R-E-E-D. Agreed. All right. Right there. Oh, hi. Morning there, Zuhair. How you doing, man? So, am I talking to myself? Yes, I talk to myself. I talk to myself often. How would I get myself straightened out if I wasn't? Let's see. Thought I wasn't coming. I would take the day off in April. I was considering strongly not showing up. That would be next weekend. I actually can't. I mean, I could stream. I wouldn't have a guitar with me. That might not even be true, but I don't know. You know, it's a funny thing. I'm going to be 8 days without a laptop or any kind of computer in front of me. I'm going to have my phones, and that's about it. I'm going to have just this is for clarity. For 1 week from now, I will be at a wedding, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be fairly busy that day, and I'm not even sure about the total itinerary as far as time is concerned. I am going to have to find my wedding invitation, though, because although I'm well known, and I'm going to be responsible for things like music and not playing it, lucky for them, but you know, it's going to be a very interesting adventure. It's going to be really cool. But yeah, no laptop, no phone, no nothing. Or phone, yes, but no laptop, no nothing. So next weekend is a no-go, and that following Monday, if anything happens, it's just going to be a drive time chat with Kirk. Hi. We can still talk about music, but I'm very likely just going to be, you know, driving on into the night with my phone plugged into my car saying, I really hope I keep reception. You know, driving up through, actually, I'm thinking I'm just going to drive back through Vegas. I might skip the Grand Canyon. It's awfully, you know, vacant and lonely out there. I don't know if I'm going to do it. But let's see here. Thanks so much for letting me know that Iron Savior song tuning. It was confusing me, but I realized it is indeed D standard after learning it. Well, right on, dude. You're welcome. So I'm going to try to. I want you to keep in mind, I literally just woke up about 20 minutes ago. Really. Got out of bed and everything. I'm like, wow. Boy, did I oversleep. Although I got an adequate amount. Got like 8 hours, so it's okay. What I was going to say, though, is that when you're watching somebody and they're doing stuff like this, but you're hearing this, you know, like a... That's a key right there. If the string is open when they're playing, but it sounds like, A string, for instance, and they're playing on it, but it sounds like this, probably tuned to D. And so watching them, I was looking at that and I'm like, huh, it looks like an inversion, like just a standard minor inversion, first inversion. So let's see what that sounds like, type of thing. And it was sounding like, if I could play, but that's what it sounded like to me. So first tip right there. It's like, hey, if it sounds different than what it looks like they're playing, and you can kind of confirm that what looks like they're playing is probably what they're actually playing, then there you go. But dude, I'm again, throw me that stuff because I'm really happy to try to single it out and identify it because it does. It is helpful. But I'm telling you how I do it. So that was it. The other thing that I could have done is just listen to see what the lowest note was. And if the lowest note is, in fact, E, great. If the lowest note is D, but down here, then So, but all of those things are helpful. There's lots and lots of clues you can use to unlock that door. It's pretty neat. So... too happy. I think my reverb is a little overdoing it today, didn't it? There we go. So, new setup. No, the lowest note in a song could be played in a chord and not on an open string. Yes, absolutely could. But open strings, to me, even with compression and studio magic, sound different and ring different than do fretted stuffs. Like... there's a certain extra tonality to an open string. It's a little different. It's just a little different. And I can usually tell what they are. Also, if people are playing things like this... now, how are they going to jump back and forth like this? Are they just going to do things like, let's see, where was that? It's a low likelihood of success on that. Most of the time, and this is a good rule of thumb, yeah, it's true. There's a certain weight to it. You're right. Most of the time, this is just my observation, but what was I going to say? This confuses me, my good man. That's all right. It's okay to be confused. I'm confused about it half the time myself. But yeah, most of the time there's the Joe Pass rule. What's the Joe Pass rule? Why do that if it's not easier? So most of the time when a guitar player writes something, he's going to have to go on tour with it. They're going to have to, he or she, sorry, they're going to have to go on tour with it. They're going to have to play it every single day, and they're going to have to do it in a live environment. Why make things hard on yourself? They're probably writing it to be as easy as possible for them. There are exceptions to the rule. There are exceptions to every rule. And is that the rule? Yes. And that's an exception to that rule as well. That's a paradox. But still, going on with it and just stopping the paradox cold right there, there are other things going on that you can just go ahead and superimpose on other guitar players. The easiest route is the correct one. So again, like the Joe Pass method, why play something more complicated than it has to be? If you're doing a lot of movement, for instance, and you've got this chord going on, but you've got other chord melodies to play, why do that? You can just do this. I'm sorry, I should have done it this way. Why do this when you could just do this, get all the tones of it, and everybody's happy, See what I mean? So for guitar players, it's the same scenario. So this played down here. It's just not that convenient now, is it? It would just be much easier to... So it's just it's the Joe Pass rule for me, and I'm right a lot of times. Not that I'm right every time, but you know, the Rush Limbaugh once wrote a book called "See, I Told You So," and I've had to use that book cover many times when telling somebody that they were wrong. So anyway, that's fun to do. So hey, question, man, how's the camera angle? Not that I could be any prettier. It's a matter of, can you see the guitar? And how Van Halen can I be? Being able to hold down the pedal tone opens up more options. Yes, you can do it in any position. Well, just about, unless you want to hit every wrong note. So, case in point, let's say we're playing an A again, and let's make it A minor for fun. Which is C major if you pay attention in class. The thing about this, which I'm saying is, you know, unless you play all the wrong notes, well, a pedal tone would be A. Here are your notes, which is not, yes, it is. Which I'm still ending in C, so let's end it in A. And that would be cool. All right, so what note isn't in there? That note, this note, so, and we're playing this. Let's hold that chord down. Let's make a melody in that. Kind of cute, isn't it? Let's play every wrong chord with a pedal tone in A. I mean, it doesn't quite work out right. I probably should have done some sort of a beat with that. And that ain't bad. I should use that. Well, at any rate. Everything is fine, audio and video, but same as always. Oh, okay. Well, actually, the camera is up by about 8 inches from where it used to be. Consequently, I am shorter by about 8 inches. But if you met me in real life, I probably would be anyway, on average. Wow, I wanted a little more bite of that. I had the tone knob down. There's my chirp. Yeah, so I've actually considered putting a camera down here as well, which you can't see, but it would be more of a direct line, like, to the guitar and having that in a second, like, little screen. And I think that would be probably profitable for the stream, especially if I'm trying to explain a concept. You get a more close-up view of the fretboard itself. Although that would also mean I would probably have to change a few things around as far as like lighting is concerned, which is different today as well. I've got 2 side lights reflecting off the cream-colored wall. When we first moved into the house and I kind of claimed this room as my own, musically. Could I talk about changing positions when soloing, going from first or second, whatever of a scale? All right, so I'm also a little. I'm just going to be frank with you. I'm also a little confused about the whole position thing. Okay, so I've talked before about first position, second position, third position with teachers, and I actually have gotten different answers from different people. Some people are really cool and just don't use them. And say things like, because for guitar players, it's more along the lines of what a fret number is. Now, I have come to believe through these various different teachers that first position, second position, third position don't actually refer to frets. That they refer to scale positions, and so therefore you can throw frets away. You know, it's all right with a first position of G major, for instance. Here, the second position would be third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and it literally would refer to like the number in the sequence that it would start at. Now I kind of believe this, but I have also heard people go like, go to your seventh position. So out of 37 years, some of the things that I don't understand is some archaic language. This is one of them. So too many notes, not enough melody and feeling. Beautiful thought, man. Very cool. Let's see. So creativity, in this case, would be creating that lasting, memorable melody. And if it has to be complex, you need to follow suit on that. And when I'm saying it has to be complex, it would be like something that would naturally be an evolution from it. Like if I figure the... You know, that has a... If I wanted that to ring, there's a bit of complexity in that. There is a modicum of difficulty, but you have to overcome it because the melody is there, and that's what you have to have. So it's completely understandable. You know, if you wanted the whole, you know, kind of loopy roller coaster of the diminished, you know, then you're going to have to, you know, overcome the difficulty with that. And there is a certain quality to it that's memorable. I always thought that the whole... sequence of stuffs like that, you know, proceeding up in such a way like the minor 7 flat 5 is what I'm playing there, seems to have, you know, a certain draw to it that you can remember things pretty easily like that. Should you memorize the positions? Only if you're talking to somebody who is using them. Now, like I was saying, as far as, oh wait, well, let me backtrack. Different people, as I was saying, describe it, it seems to me, in different ways. There are some terms that are so common that you don't have to think about it. Like when somebody says dominant, you already know it's a minor 7 chord with a, well, technically it's a major flat 7 chord, is what it is. But I was going to say with a natural third. So this is being a dominant chord. Why is it dominant? It's the one that wants to go back to 1 the most. That's the only reason why they call it dominant. To me, dominant means the overarching tonality. And so I was confused about dominant for 20 years. 20 years! I'm asking people, what does that mean? It's a dominant chord. Why is it dominant if it's not the root? Nobody could explain it to me. I took a college class in beginner guitar 20 years in. I was the assistant teacher. Unpaid, but, you know, it's a thing. But I took the course, and the guy's like, dude, you play really... Rich Sikorsky, you are an awesome teacher, and I thank you for everything you taught me. Because I actually learned, beginner or not. You know, sometimes you skip things. And I asked him directly, he's a jazz guy, but he plays all sorts of things, but I asked him, he asked me, why am I in the class? And he said, and I'll get to your answer in just a second. But he said, why are you in the class? And I said, because I may have skipped something, and I want to make sure that I've got it. And he understood that, and he appreciated that and respected it. And he asked, well, would you mind, you know, helping some players out? And I'm like, I have no problem with that. I love to help. So he invited me to his house. I went out to his house, played guitar most of the morning, had coffee with him and his wife. It was really, really cool. We talked about all sorts of things. Now, this is 20 years ago, but, well, almost. But I was 20 years in, and I asked him one time during class, and by the way, this was an elective. This was like my last quarter of college. Hey, man. And yes, I was a late college bloomer, but hey, man, what the heck does dominant chord mean? Oh, well, that just means, and how I just explained it to you, it's the chord that has the most overtones that want to go home. That's it. I want to go home most. I am the dominant chord. That's it. That's what it means. All right, so I get it. It's archaic. So the position thing, should you learn the positions of all the scales? Hell yes. Most definitely. And we'll start talking about that right now. Megadeth, Well, there's lots of that, but there's really not a lot of this in Megadeth. But oh, you mean the whole? Oh, the. Well, it's very Marty Friedman, yes. But I'm a fan. I can't help myself. But it's also very Uli Roth, so know where the stuff came from. So as far as scale positions are concerned, there's only a few that you have to really worry about. If you already know scale names such as Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixolydian, Locrian, or Locrian. Oh, I kind of skipped one. Oops. Mixolydian, Aeolian, and then Locrian. Then you're in good shape because they all fit together kind of like big puzzle blocks on the instrument. So I don't have a great memory. I have some. But this is just a minor 7 flat 5. So if I was to play this chord, this is the same as like this chord. Or even, that's it. So, and Marty does do that a lot. So, what is that? How did it go? Yes. That kind of thing. He does do that a lot. So how do you play that, for instance? Let's start here because, Symphony of Destruction. And we're going to go 1 flat 5 below it to F sharp to really outline the minor 7 flat 5-ness of it all. That would be an F sharp, an A, a C, and an E. After that, it's wash, rinse, and repeat. And then pull the string off the fretboard and make a weird sound. And that would be really cool, wouldn't it? So it's like 2 notes per fret, and then 1 note per fret, and then just 2 notes, 1, 2 notes, maybe 3? Fun with that. Pretty cool. So, as I was saying about scale positions, if you already recognize those names and you have an idea of what those look like, great, especially when they're like harmonized 3 notes per string. Let's play F. Why'd I choose F? Because it's pretty low on the fretboard and it still kind of makes you phrase all of it. Hopper, are you okay? Oh, you got a toy, you sweet baby. Oh, did you go get it? Oh, went too far. Poor baby. He's such a sweetie. He's got the saddest little meow in the history of all meows, though, I swear to God. Oh, good morning, Raffy. How you doing, man? So, I was just talking about scales and scale positions. So, let's go with F. All right, well, if you look at it like with blocks of notes, I think I have to let the dog out. So, but if you look at it in blocks of notes, where are the first notes where your first finger would play? Okay, that doesn't really make a very pleasant chord, and we're not going for a chord here. But that's well, the person who just commented above you feels the same way. So he does pay me, and I would be happy to give many lessons to anyone else deciding to contribute. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, while I let the dog out, and we'll keep pondering the very important thing of scales and scale shapes. But I'm showing you how I think of them and how I lock them together in the beginning. Because, okay, come here, dog. Come on, doggy. Hopper, here's your toy bag. Sorry, buddy. There you go. Nope. You want to be on camera there, Nerf Herder? He's such a pretty Gary likes the springs too. Okay, so back to it. Let us contemplate and consider. Yeah, so Zuhair, if you feel like I've been helpful to you and you would also like to contribute on a monthly basis, it's $5 a month. It would be essentially like buying me a cup of tea at Starbucks, because I'm not much of a coffee drinker these days. But if you feel like I've contributed to your life in any way, and lay it upon your heart, I'm trying to guilt trip you. No, I'm not actually. But nevertheless, if you feel like that's something you'd like to do, I would be happy to contribute to you in that way as well. So, but let's see. What I was saying though about scale positions is this is how I saw them. I see them as kind of a block map. Okay, so the first notes in the scale on each string. So I see that as a block pattern. What's the next one? Okay, so far so good. And I'm not seeing these as chords, like I said. I'm seeing them as just a block pattern and how things fit together like a puzzle piece, okay? So this, followed by this, followed by this. And you are picking up a kind of a scalular sound. But if all of these fit together with all of this, and fit together with all this, then you kind of know how they connect. The next one, Dorian. Now, the tone is not... The tone of whether or not these are actually Dorian or actually Lydian or actually name the scale, the Western, Greek modes, is 100 dependent on context. I can play a Dorian scale, but if I've got a C underneath, I am not in Dorian. Case in point, especially if I'm, playing... What I'm suggesting here is in a... Don't you want to go home at that point? All right, so I just played Phrygian. But it still sounds like major, doesn't it? Because context matters. If you just play a scale and you've got nothing else going on, you still have context to mind. I mean, if you're just noodling around and it doesn't matter where you're going, rolling ball of Mercury. Then, things kind of take a bit of a turn, and you can kind of superimpose whatever tonality you want over the top of it by highlighting a few things, like... Or if you didn't want to be in major for the F-ness, you could play a chord first, for instance, and then go... and play chords every once in a while. Or you can highlight the chord... and not hit that note, because that's not in there. And that's how you can, when you're noodling, just kind of keep a home base in tone. But, or open drones, that's a good way of doing it. But, just saying, I'm playing Dorian. With no context, it's just kind of a wash. But you can say that you're doing it. It just doesn't necessarily sound like it without context. Oh, yeah. So the positions with the names. So the scale positions for F major. Thanks for redirecting my stream of consciousness thought. Again, these are not the proper chords that go with these positions. I want to highlight that. Those are, and these are just seventh chords. We're literally skipping every other note to make them. Played a little differently, reharmonized. Excuse me. Which is the same. But I'm putting the first 7, then the 3, then the 5. So if you were doing it this way, this would be a start of something called a chord scale. Excuse me. No. That would also be... Yeah. I just changed the key. But you can do that. It's fun. I haven't done chord scales. So there's a couple of things that I've realized recently is that there are things that I've done within the first 6 years of guitar playing that I've never touched again. And I would go through it until I got it, and then I just kind of leave it alone. But there are things that are helpful to other guitar players who are starting out. Positionally speaking is one of them. That because I didn't pay any attention to after the fact, they just kind of went away, and other things took their place, took very much precedent, like the rolling ball of Mercury, so to speak. But I'm going to have to go through this again because this is important to you guys. It's not important to me anymore. That's why I don't do it. But it is important to you guys in the beginning. So this scale thing that I was talking about can continue on. What are the bass notes of Dorian? That one's easy. It's the same as, we just kind of went up for here. That whole... All right, so this is... We already know where, this one is, and we already know where this one is. Well, what's the next one? Let's see here. Yeah. So there's this. This is getting more difficult. I believe that's this. Which is kind of weird and blaring, but you can see how the shape would fit with this. Okay. But this is what helped me. But continue on with that. Back in 3-note per strings thing. So if you can start breaking them down into those blocks, think about it for a bit. Try to visualize how they all kind of connect as a block. It can be helpful. The other thing you can do is memorize. So I'm moving on. The other thing you can do is memorize the basic patterns per 2 strings and how they relate to each other. Whole step, next string, whole step, half step, whole step, next string, half step, whole step. Next string, whole step, half step, whole step, half step. How octaves work. That's all going to be there. That's all going to be there. It's all going to be there. Now... Going up for the next one, it's going to be whole step, half step, and then, well, because here, that's a whole step, half step, so an octave down, 2 octaves really. Same notes. Same notes. Technically same notes, different octave register. Going on with this, so this would be whole step, half step, whole step, the next string, whole step, same as the next one, half step, whole step, half step, whole step. Okay, one after that, Phrygian, half step, half step, half step. And if you'll notice this, octave, same thing. Kind of neat. Anyway, you can also find that here. Same notes. I mean, granted, we have the little shift between the B and the G strings, but it's the same. This goes on to what we just did over here. Whole step, whole step. This is whole step, whole step. And that's that. So the next one, well, it just kind of floats off like it's in space. The Pigtronics Emanator is a delay pedal. I'm convinced. I don't need a Boss DD500. I don't need a Strymon freaking, time string, whatever they call it. That's great. That's the sound I've been after. So, and you too may enjoy that. You get them now used for, oh gosh, I got mine for $50. You can get them new for a lot more than that, and most of the time they sell used for $100. So, yeah. The next one will be Lydian, B flat Lydian, whole step, half step, whole step. Well, dude, that's the neat part. Take care of yourself for one. I'm glad you asked the question that you did. I'm going to pursue this a little bit in my own scattershot kind of, I'm still waking up kind of way, so bear with me. Again, Patreon in the description if you feel so. But the thing is, over here where you're leaving and going to do things and starting to play throughout the day and all that kind of stuff, yeah, dude, you can always go back to a live stream and you know, check it out. It's less interactive, but you know, you can do that. And so, actually, I'll be heading off of here in about 12 minutes myself. I have a car to wash, and it's not going to wash itself. Just like these guitars to play. They're not going to play themselves either. Have a good weekend, though. Just same to you, in other words. So, as I was saying, Dorian, Phrygian, starting on fret 5, literally proceeding up the scale and playing all the same notes that are in that first scale, but they're going to be kind of in different positions, and it's just a matter of, you know, where do my fingers go and how do I recognize where they are. With not wrong notes. Lydian. Mixolydian. Minor, or Aeolian, which the minor term, I mean, look, a lot of people just say, oh, it's just the minor scale. Well, in Western modes, scales, there are 4 minor modes, 4 minor scales, and 3 major ones. If you talk to other people, there are 12 major scales. That's kind of wrong. There's 12 major scales as far as like how many times can you play them. I mean, there are literally 12 different keys is what they should be saying. But, you know, there's 12 different notes you can start a major scale on or impose the major scale on. Yep, absolutely true. But there are not 12 different major scales. In the circle of fifths, though, you can start to understand them by different, you know, circle of fifths dash circle of fourths. You start to understand them by, you know, sharps or flats, like 1 sharp, 2 sharps, 6, you know, 4 flats, that kind of thing. And then that gives you a better understanding for music notation and, you know, composition. Yep, no question. But, you know, if you're talking to a guitar player, you tell them what key you're playing in, they're just going to be able to say, okay, and then they'll play the thing. But it's not a matter of knowing your 12 major scales. There's literally 1 major scale that you can put in any place because they're all exactly the same intervallically. So this major scale, which is whole step, half step, whole step, half step, is the same one that they referred to. Just put it anywhere. It's all transposition. Where do you want to play it? That's it. That's literally it. In what key are we playing? It drives you nuts, but, you know, it's the truth. Going on, though, as I was saying, there is minor, which is Aeolian, the Aeolian minor scale. And then there is which is whole step, half step, whole step, half step, which you can see over here. So here, this means that this begins the minor scale. That's kind of cute. A little AC/DC-ish in a way, but still cute. Aeolian. Like an aioli or an areolian, but you know. Following that is Locrian, in this case in the key of E. And you should start to notice that some of these things kind of start to repeat. And why are they repeating? They're repeating because they're repeating patterns built off of the same notes that you would find in other positions or in other octaves. So if I'm doing this, for instance, I'm going to notice that this is exactly the same way I play this, but an octave higher. I'm also going to notice this, or something like that. This will be Dorian, basically. Here also. Easy as pie. sort of. I mean, you start to put these things together. They start to become links in the chain. You just have to kind of do them, and then once you really commit to that exercise, things will start to pop out at you that you may not have seen before, and the links in the chain will self kind of create and then become stronger over time. And then after a while, you'll just know. And all will be well. Then we can get into the what's a seventh chord? Well, it's just a chord built off of every other note. That includes the first, the third, the fifth, the seventh. What the heck does that mean? Well, that means the first note, the third note, the fifth note, and the seventh note. Well, if we did the same type of thing over on the next scale shape, which is Dorian, what are you doing there, Hopper? Well, it doesn't look the same, does it? No, of course not, because it's the 1, 2, 3 note, 1, 2 note, 3, which is the 5, the 6, the 7th. Well, why are they not called the first, third, fifth, and 7th when you just kind of attack them like that? They're a first flat 3, 5, flat 7. Well, because in reference to a major scale, the notes that are different are called on it. So on this scale, it's here, and on a major scale, it's here. So this note is flattened, and so is this note. So we have a flat 3, a 5, and a flat 7. That's why. It's the that to me was like the revelation of all revelations. Oh my gosh, it makes so much sense. Holy crap, If you reference everything to a major scale, you'll know why, like the diminished has a double flat 7, for instance, or a diminished 7th. Something diminished means double flat also. I don't know why. They decided to confuse the term, but it is, in my opinion, a confused term. They should have just said double flat 7, and that it's diminished not because it has a double flat 7 and diminished 7. Don't confuse the term. It's diminished because it's basically stacked minor thirds. But that's not even true, because that's built off of a scale that is just a half step, whole step, repeat. Half step, whole step, half step. You can start it in either way, but it's half step, whole step, whole step, half step. And that's, about, oh, hi Gary, are you coming to destroy again? Gary. Come in and show everybody the people that are here your Sherbertness. Gary likes to chew on everything. It's not there, but take a look. Yes. No, sorry. Technically true. If I wanted to change positions, you can take things and move them from like minor to major. But don't just, that's a little on the bluesy side. But if I did this, which is supposed to be major, just going up the scale, minor again, and instead of playing minor there, let's do major instead. Because, you don't really have a feeling, a draw to anywhere if you do this. You can go anywhere you want. You're just on the median. You're halfway between here and the 5th, so... That makes me want to go somewhere. And I can do it major or minor. Maybe both, but minor, major, yeah, we can do that too. Those do exist. So, but this to here, that's very nice. And guess what? You're still in the same key of F major, but you've moved the F major. I mean, well, I'm not saying same key as F major. You still have all the same notes as F major, but you moved it to D minor now. You modulated. You've literally taken it and you've molded it into a different tone. Because this, which is the Thanksgiving song, by the way, in 7th chords, that turkey for me, that's what I'm talking about. But this all I've done is change one note, made it harmonic minor. Now I'm in minor. Or I could really mess it up and do D major instead. And it's a very classical thing to do, especially in the endings. For some reason, it's always dark to light. You can't just let it be dark the whole time. It has to end triumphantly. Gary is now in the room. Gary. Come here, Gary. Come in. So excited when he comes in. I'll just have to play for Gary and then I'm leaving. You have to mouth it when you're doing it. Here's Gary. Gary. There's Gary. he's a terror, but he's a cutie. Well, let's play it out with some lead work. I'm really wanting to pull that off the fretboard today. Such is life when you're tired. Actually, you guys are helping me wake up. I had to think a bit. And as a result of having to think, I don't know, West Philadelphia, born and raised, and the playground is where I spent most of my days. David Shreds. That's a channel you guys ought to take a look at. I mean, we don't see eye to eye on everything. I don't know the guy personally, but he's actually a local. And he basically did this Fresh Prince of Bel-Air thing. Where he's just going over there. West Philadelphia, born and raised. On the playground is where I spent most of my days, all chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, and all shooting some b-ball outside of the school when a couple of guys, who were up to no good, they started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got in one little fight. My mom got scared, and, she said, "You're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel-Air." But he actually recited the whole thing. The thing is, that's about the only thing that I've memorized about it. Something about, yo, home, smell you later. Looked at my kingdom, I was finally there. Sit on my throne as the Prince of Bel-Air. But he shred. And I mean, I'm not talking about like my kind of shred. He actually, just retardedly good shred. It's amazing stuff. The David Shreds, look him up. He's great. He deserves every subscriber he gets. But yeah, Seattle guitar teacher. Very, very, very competent player. Young fella too, but prodigy. He also endorses Gecchetto picks. Plays with a, I'm not sure, but I don't believe his is like a 7 or 8 millimeter like I've got. I'm just using a fake Dunlop Tortex today. It's actually really good. Well, look, everybody, I got stuff to do. I'm sure you all have stuff to do, and whoever tuned in, I'm really happy that you did. Thank you for stopping by. If you would like to participate more the next time, possibly, I would be happy to. Wait a minute, which MVP project is better? Truth in Shredding or Centrifugal Funk? Oh, dude, Liquid Metal, I'm sorry I didn't see your text there. There was a bombardment of stuff. If you're still out there, personally, I didn't like Centrifugal Funk very much. That's just me. Truth in Shredding was fantastic. But not very memorable simultaneously. But more memorable for the, they weren't trying to be funky. So I have a problem with shred mixing with too many different styles. And this is just, it's a personal thing. So when I say too many different styles, it's like, if you're going to do it and you commit, that's great. But it's like all Shrapnel records back in the day, okay? Every single record from Shrapnel that they put out. Oh, Discord, cool. Every single record that Shrapnel put out always had to have what I would call the obligatory shuffle. Always. You'd always have one tune that's like... or the bluesy little... And to me, it almost seemed like the guitar player was just given the project. All right, you have to write a shuffle. It's an obligatory thing. Every single Shrapnel record has one. Every single one of them. I even think Cacophony did a couple shuffles. But you have to put it in there. So to me, the funk thing was kind of an in vogue deal. Oh yeah, we got to mix it with the 70s. You know, no, you don't. You don't have to do that. It's not necessary. Have a good time doing it, but you're not known for it. It's not something that you actually do. Knock it off. It just, to me, it's a bad look. Be who you are. Funk, making an entire record out of that, no. I really didn't think that any part of it was them. I really, really did. I think this was just like a record company project. You guys should play funk. It would be cool. Yeah, we'll make money. Let's play funk. Okay, so there's something to be said for that. If somebody's paying you, fucking do it. No reason not to, especially if you have the chops for it and can commit. But if it's really not you, no, don't do it. But it doesn't seem genuine to me. That's my thing. But art is extremely subjective, right? All right. Home means the one, by the way, Zuhair, just to answer those questions from way earlier that I missed, obviously, because my text is way over there and it should be over here. Sorry. On the note, this one in particular, that's a G sharp if you're paying attention out there. Yeah, subscribe to the David Shreds. He absolutely deserves your stuffs. He can play remarkably well and has pretty decent insight. And it looks like now is a fortuitous time to go ahead and abscond from the stream. But I did want to mention this. So a couple 3 days ago, I think it was Tuesday, I'm heading out of the house, and Holdsworth versus Gambale. Oh, dude. Did they make an album together? This is something I didn't know. Huh. Okay. So, okay. Well, Holdsworth wins for not picking. Gambale wins for picking. Any day of the week. It's simple as that. But Holdsworth was an alien, dude. We're all just trying to keep up with him. And I mean an absolute alien. So, okay. Tuesday, I'm leaving the house. I just pour boiling water into my teacup for the day. It's not completely filled. I put the lid on it. It's a travel mug, but I don't close the lid, so it's easier to vent. It vents out, and also it would allow it to be, cool down a little more quickly. Because I want to drink the tea in the morning. I don't want to wait until it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon until it's cool enough. So I'm holding on to my lunch, and I have my tea right here, and I'm leaving the house, and oh, look, my umbrella. And I reach over to get it, and I pour the just finished boiling water on my hands. So if you got a bit of a squeamish... That was Truth in Treading? Shoot, dude, I didn't think that... Okay, I thought... What was Sean Lane and... Give me a second on this. Gary... I'm hearing... back over that way, which means he's into something he shouldn't be into, and he's a cable chewer, so you got to watch him. I thought that was what's his name? Sean Lane and Brett Garsed. Which one am I thinking of? Anyway, I pour boiling water on my fret hand. Oh, I wasn't Gary. Sorry, Gary. Oh, he's messing with stuff he should not. Give me a second, guys. So, like I said, I didn't think it was that. I thought it was Sean Lane and Gary. Get out of there. Thank you. I thought it was, as I was saying, Sean Lane and Brett Garsed. But TJ Helmer. That's it. Thanks, man. Thanks. Not Sean Lane. But they did do an album together. Which one did they do? You have great knowledge on this. I happen to have them, and I haven't listened to them since like 2001. so very good. Now that's pretty fantastic, I have to say. I appreciate your encyclopedic knowledge. My encyclopedic knowledge has taken a complete backseat from disuse. So let me continue the story though. So I pour essentially boiling water, onto my fret hand. This is the result. I am burned. I have a first degree burn, healing first degree burn, freaking second, maybe even third degree burn here. I mean, does it hurt? No. Hasn't popped yet, which is good. Day one, no blisters. Iced the crap out of everything. Didn't know I had a second degree burn. But, you pour boiling water on yourself, and there you go. Does it affect my guitar playing? Only a little. I'm good. So, sorry about the horror show, but hopefully that'll go away soon. It is a little smaller than yesterday's, so that's good. But I may be permanently scarred as if I've got blush upon me. Also, this one itches like a mother. Oh, my God. So... okay. Thanks, man. Thanks for the clarity. I've got them. I've heard them, but it's been years. And so at the time, what I remember most is Blind Guardian, like Nightfall in Middle Earth, Borknagar. So a little bit of a different take. I mean, I did listen to this stuff at work. Keep that in mind, but that's about it. And Michelangelo Badio's, what is that? No Gravity. So, yeah, good times. But I had these, and I did listen to them, but it's not the thing that sticks out the most. So anyway, I have to go, let the dog in, and then, shower, wash the car, all that kind of stuff, and get myself ready for an Arizona vacation that starts on Tuesday. I will not be there, of course. Oh, dude, thank you very much. I appreciate the well wishes. I really, really do. There's one person at work that's like, you should see a doctor. And I'm like, I'll be okay. I've never been burned this badly since the sunburn I had going down to Valencia, California on a 100-degree day and going to Six Flags for like 12 hours in the sun, not believing in sunscreen. Gary. He's a blast. Love that cat. Anyway, everybody, I hope you all have a really nice Saturday. I hope you get some playing time in, and I really do hope that that you can play faster and memorize the whole scale stuff. So I'm sorry I was so scattershot today. Actually, I'm not sorry at all. But nevertheless, I am scattershot today, and I'm just trying to keep up as best as I can. So have yourselves a good one, and we'll talk on Monday. Good day, all.